What's up, y'all? How's it going? We are so pumped to be here.
All right, who's going to be first up?
Woo! This is awesome, y'all.
I got my California shoes on.
How's it going, y'all? We are so excited. Looks like I might be the first one on. Awesome. Yeah. Woo! Welcome to Wednesday night with John and Kendall. So, one of the few things we've been able to consistently make it to on time. This is amazing. Woo! What's up, Californians?
We're listening to California by Phantom Planet. No royalties or rights. We don't really know how that works, but if we cut it off at a certain time, we should be fine. Thanks, guys, for tuning in for once.
We are
ahead of the game.
Thrilled. Hello, Jennifer. Welcome. Thank you for being here today. This is going to be an absolute blast, y'all. Hello, Jessica. Hello, Veronica. Woo!
All
so
the Californians
excited.
out there.
Hey, Laura. What's up? Yeah, tell us if you chose this class because you're from California.
This is not a good song for my voice, by the way.
Yeah, then let's not do it. We don't even know it. Fine.
You are just in the wrong spot.
Hey, Claire. Hey, Jeff. Woo!
See, now he's about to say, here we come.
Here we come. This is going to be
This song
awesome
does take me back to some college road tripping days.
Yo, what's up, Robin? Jane, you're here. Hey, Rhonda.
It was a previous boyfriend, so.
That's fine. You and I road tripped before. We can have other memories. Hey, Helder, what's up in Chicago?
No, then we used the CD, so we made better memories. Yeah.
Awesome.
Woo! Hey, Nancy, Carol, and Martin, welcome in. Let's get ready for Taste of California.
Woo! This is going to be an epic tasting. All right, Will and Natalie representing the Bay Area.
Yay!
Happy anniversary almost. Woo!
Oh, they got married in Sonoma. We're taking a trip back.
Fantastic.
Okay,
Aunt Melissa.
If you were going to play a California song right now, which would you have done? There was like Beach Boys. There was Dre and Tupac. I looked up all these different songs, so I'm curious what you would have chosen. Oh, the Mamas and the Papas. California. This is what got my groove going.
We love you, Helder. Thank you for sending us amazing cheese all the time.
This is my knife dance. This is the new knife dance. My Facebook Live dancing is like a shoulder thing and a hand thing.
So we're in our formal block tonight. So we're.
I don't know about you. I'm in a moo-moo. They can't see it. This is like a shift dress all the way down.
Hotel California. We'd be on. The song would play
Eagles,
for
Hotel
hours.
California.
Yeah, the song would have played for hours.
Oh, look at that, John. It's like we produced that. It's 6 o'clock on the dot and it stops. Woo!
I'm feeling good about this, considering that we have over half of the people on. Our computer didn't freeze so far.
Last week we froze. Welcome, if this is your first time, to Wednesday nights, Facebook Live with the Antonellis. It's always a journey or an adventure.
Yes, always an adventure.
We don't know what's going to break, what child might run through the house. Ooh, I should have blocked that corner because you don't know what's going to come around that corner.
Clothed or not clothed?
Yes. I am going to tilt that just in case. I don't want to get in trouble for any reason. All right, let's do it that way.
Oh, yeah. No, well, yeah. There we go.
Okay. But yes, like everybody else who has children popping into the screens at certain times, we have a 6 and 7-year-old. Oh, now 8. He turned 8 this weekend. We have a 6 and 8-year-old who may pop in. We've got 2 dogs who like to try to come eat our cheese scraps. So welcome into the only clean corner of our house. I'm Kendall.
And I'm John.
And we're the Antonellis.
And we're your hosts for this awesome tasting and our personal date night.
Woo!
Love you.
Every Wednesday since pandemic sheltering in place hit in Austin. Okay, so some housekeeping stuff. We know so many of you have done these with us regularly, and we try not to make this boring since it's a repeat. But for those of you who it's new, or just as a reminder, if you are always inebriated or never listening to us, we hope you have your mise en place ready to go. For us, that's our cheese board. You don't need a knife. You can just lick your fingers. We'll show you how we're going to put it at 12 o'clock. It's kind of 1 o'clock. If you put these 2 little cubes of cheese, that's what you want at your 1 o'clock-ish. We've got our menu in front of us. There you go. There's the back. You can refer to it. If you, for some reason, didn't get one or lost it, look at back one post on your Facebook, and I posted it. John and I always have Rambler, unofficial sponsors of Rambler. Mostly we just like sparkling water as palate cleansers. Cheese is fatty and palate coating. So whether it's Topo Chico, Waterloo, whatever it is, a sparkling water is always great, or water if you will. And then tonight we are drinking a Sauvignon Blanc out of California. We don't sell it, but it was a gifted wine.
What are y'all drinking? Let us know. Comment. Let us know what you're drinking. We're always excited to see. A couple of weeks ago, somebody was doing shots and cigars paired with it. I'm not sure if that was real or not, but
sure it was. Anything to get through COVID. Also, if you're not drinking alcoholic beverages, tell us too. We'll talk about how they're pairing as we go through. So we want to know what you're drinking. We want to know if you're celebrating anything, and we want to know if it's your first time on. So if it's any of those, give us a shout out. We're going to be following along. The reason we're looking around is we have 4 screens set up right now. So we're bouncing. Awesome. These are the things we're learning, but we're looking at comments on one, you on another, and following along that way. Right?
Yeah. It's awesome. We've got some East Cider Sangria. That's awesome.
Anything with bubbles is always fantastic. Sparklines, ciders, beer, effervescence is great with cheese.
Cava and an IPA. That's killing it right now. That's awesome. Liberation Day. So we're giving everybody just a few more moments to get on. We'd like to give a 2 to 3, 4 minute buffer.
If you're joining and for some reason you're like 6 o'clock is hard for us to make. My dogs aren't in bed yet. I just wanted to do that for those of you who have kids and are tired of us talking about kids. But if we're hoping for a later tasting, we love requests to do these tastings late night. Guess what? We don't do late night. We are up early every morning around 6 or before with our kids. And so our late night hours are the only ones that are for John. And quite honestly, we just end up passed
going
out.
To bed.
But we're working through Schitt's Creek. Yay. Thank you for the recommendation. So that said, though, the cool thing specific about the Facebook Live videos is you can access them time on tonight. So if in the future you're a later tasting, do another Facebook Live, and then later on you can sit down and watch it at 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock. I've been snoring for a while by then, but good, and let your friends know. All right, I think we should do it.
Yeah, we have some anniversaries going on. We've got a 11-year-old cheesemonger is joining us.
I will try to keep it PG.
Yeah.
Okay, 11-year-old.
Second tasting. We got a lot of stuff. The comments are coming fast and easy, so I'm loving this. This is going to be a great night, y'all. The plate looks outstanding. I've been sipping it for the last 25 minutes.
All right, so we've done a different theme every week. Oftentimes it's some variation on Cheese 101 because we talk about Cheese 101 for you. What else did we do? Oh, we did Easter candy pairings and cheese. We did junk food convenience store because we rode domestic road trips. We did junk food pairings with cheese. Yes, we're an artisanal cheese shop, but we've gone loopy. But for the month of May specifically, so most of all those have all featured American cheese. We're highlighting American cheese because May Cheese Month. Hashtag it when you post. Hashtag American Cheese Month. I should have done it. I didn't even do it in the comments, I don't think. So why is that important to us? One, we try to procure and source almost 75%, if more at sometimes, in artisanal cheese. What does that mean? People in my hands, made in traditional methods. We know most of the names, tell you who the makers are. And that's for everything else we carry. Cured meats, beer, wine, jams, jellies, honeys.
Chocolates, everything.
Yes, a lot of stuff we're going to have tonight. So we are a small cut-to-order shop in Austin, 10 years old, and have now taken our cheese classes virtual as we're driving. So thanks for being with us tonight. You're helping us pay, keep everybody employed, and most importantly, American Cheese Month, continue buying cheese.
Yeah, continue buying cheese. It's not easy for cheesemakers around the country right now. There's stories of cheesemakers having to dump because there's just not enough demand, throw away cheese. It's a tough time for our partners. And so this type of effort that we get to put in, showcasing and highlighting them and sharing their stories makes a big difference, because hopefully what it means is that their future is brighter than maybe their yesterday. Yep. And so that's what we're working on and we're working hard for. And this is just going to be an absolute blast.
So that you know, Wednesday. Today we're doing Taste of California, but we're not doing cheese repeats because it's all different months.
Hey, Reggie just joined.
Reggie!
We're tasting your cheese right around 7 o'clock if you want to join in and talk.
And we're tasting Avery's around 6:40.
Yeah.
I mean, we're never on schedule, but we love you.
Cheesemaker in the house.
So yes, it's American Cheese Month. Tonight we're doing Taste of California. Next Wednesday we're doing Vermont. Then the following we actually had to flip some things around. We are doing, it's going to be all American Cheese Society of Show, which is awesome. I got your extra commentary coming. This is Elia. Hi. Hi. So best of, and we decided, we always kind of liked, I don't know, learned into kind of themey things, but for the best of show, Ron and I are going to be in black tie. I'm not sure either one of us can get on our tux/dress, but you don't know if it's not in the back, right?
Exactly.
We got it. So do the best of, hopefully you'll join us for Vermont. Then best of show at the American Cheese Society, which means cheeses that each won over all the other 2,000 cheeses. And then the last week we're going to do Taste of Wisconsin. So proceeds, a partial proceeds from each one of these to the American Cheese Education Foundation, or the ACE Foundation. I currently am proud and honored to serve. It's a way that we give back to our cheese community and help our makers. And so we're going to be getting a portion of this back to you. So hopefully you just get to eat and have fun, and there's no real end to it.
Cheers, y'all.
Except to say that it's for a good purpose. So we hope you feel good about it.
All right.
I never. Sometimes John gets to talk, but I had a glass before, so maybe not. Super exciting tonight. You may see some names on this cheese board that you're like, why didn't they do this? Why didn't they do that? We tried to represent a lot of makers who don't often carry. So 6 of these 7 cheeses we brought in just for this taste. It's pretty atypical, and we're going to try to do that all throughout the month. Somebody who regularly comes to our classes or follows us, you're going to get stuff during the month of May. So repeats. But that being said, what's going to be fun is we're doing some of these for the very first time with you.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, it's going to be awesome. I get my food face on. This is our sweet Jay. He's asking me a question. Do you want to talk some more?
Yes. Okay. I think I talked about everything. This is challenging.
Oh, why don't you get it?
The first time he was gone, and then she decided she started liking this thing on screen. Oh, okay.
Well, we should eat because she'll cook 17 times.
Okay.
Why don't you talk about it and I'll eat, or do you want me to talk about it, my love?
I'm talking, baby.
Let's do this thing.
All right.
Cheers, y'all.
Everybody has a Quicos corn nut on their plate.
Awesome.
Our source from our friends at Petty Max in Spain. We're going to do an exercise. I'm not even going into it. But plug your nose, put your palate, and start chewing. And you can exhale and breathe on it or through your mouth. But then, we think we've done this every week. You're going to taste salty. John gets some bitter notes, but really that's all. Like, open your nose and exhale through your nose, and that is when you get the full flavor and taste of a corn nut.
It's good tonight.
It brings on like pie and popcorn and everything else that you use with it. So the reason we do that, one, is to kind of count all of our palates and get us in the same place, because every palate can taste different. We all just had coffee or whatever. But 2, it shows the importance of aroma. Flavor is just not about taste. Flavor is about taste meets aroma, and that's where you get the full expression of it. I'm not going to go a lot deeper in that tonight, except to say, when you're eating, I hope you mindfully eat. And just like you're at a wine tasting and you smell and you swirl it, and you get hay, and then you drink it, and you do this on you gurgle it a little bit, and then you think about the finish. We hope you mindfully eat this cheese as well, because it is such a labor of love. Sometimes it takes more hands touch it than they do of making wine. And so we respect wine for some reason, but don't often respect cheese that much. And so ours to get you to respect, although I'm preaching to the choir, I'm pretty sure y'all respect cheese.
RESPECT.
But we want you down and enjoy it as well. I'm ready.
I'm so excited.
All right, we're going to go clockwise. We're going to start with these pieces of 2. And for our taste of California tonight, quick fun fact. Did you know, what's up, some bad with numbers, how much cheese does California?
2.5 billion pounds a year.
I don't know why I'm doing this. Is out of
awesome.
To get to 1 billion, that's a lot.
And that's number 2. Wisconsin is number 1, and California is number 2.
And California is the non dairy producing state, so it makes them milk, and then the second most in cheese, 2.5 pounds.
Yeah, and a cool fact I learned earlier is Monterey Jack style cheeses that typically made in California were produced 100 years ago in missions in California.
Awesome.
That's super cool.
If and when we get to travel again, which we are travel people, and it has been biting us hard. If and when we get to do it, there's a win. When we get to do that, people often ask us, where should I go on an amazing trip? There is a California cheese trail. So a quick and easy, if you can't make it to France and Spain, one of our favorite cheese trips was we California and went up to Sonoma and Point Reyes and Petaluma area. So go check it out. The Sonoma County cheese trail. Look up California cheese map and you'll find it.
All right, let's do this thing.
I've been talking a lot.
We have two of the cheesemakers hanging out with us.
So nerve-wracking. Y'all hold us accountable. If you say something wrong, tell us. And hello, Amelia. Hello.
Tell us privately so that we can fix it later.
No, you can out us.
All right. Well, let's dive in. So
number one.
Number one, this square. Oh, the bread is from Easy. Use it as a palate cleanser. Corn nuts, same thing. Use as a palate cleanser. But that means
don't put this on bread to eat it, because then it's just going to taste like bread.
And so this is Chevou's Tupelo Honey and Lime Goat Cheese.
First time I'm tasting it. I think I tasted it at a food trade show, but I can't remember this specific one.
Gerald and Susan Tuck, they operate this company, and they are little jars marinated goat cheese. They are super special, super delicate, super beautiful. They have 3 kiddos. And so
they're an Australian couple. When they moved to the States, like part of their regular Australia, when they would have their barbecue, what is it? Like, I don't know, the Aussie is out on the bottom. They said almost always a staple on their table was a marinated cheese. Eat it on salads, eat it straight, smear it on bagels and bread, all sorts of applications with it. And so we have some like locally we've seen to make this product and mass produce is the wrong words, but make it more available. And so this is in an olive oil that's been infused with different botanicals for 8 weeks. So creamy.
Yeah. You're thinking a dense, crumbly, almost like feta, and then when you bite it, it's smooth and creamy and rich. It's typically you see marinated feta, you don't see marinated goat, like a fresh goat's milk. So it's a nice play. And Tupelo honey is one of the rarest honeys on the planet. It's got this really beautiful savory note. It never crystallizes because the sucrose are bad. And it's one of the shop most popular products is the Tupelo honey from Savannah, Florida, Georgia area. And anyway, it's unbelievable.
Somebody said it tastes like key lime pie. Totally. What is magical about this cheese right now is it's in little jars, so you can be able to find it at like Central Market or food. So this is very atypical for us to bring. We don't carry this one in our shop today, mostly because we like supporting our local producers with feta.
Amelia is currently in the cheese room watching,
and she makes one of the number fetas in the entire world. So that's how we kind of choose to support our local feta makers and cheese makers. But that being said, about this, it's so creamy. It comes in that jar. The structure of the cheese is not like a pile of so it's amazing that it can keep that perfect shape and form, but then be so spreadable.
Yeah, that is delicious.
Okay, we didn't even talk about
if you've already finished it, no big deal. If you save a little bit of cheese back, great, because later you might want to pair something with something, and you never know.
Oh,
this is going to be heavy.
Who was it? It was like key lime pie.
This is like
especially with her.
So this is Effie's oatcakes. These are actually this slipped in because the pairing was going to be heavy. Massachusetts is the only product produced in California. These are Effie oatcakes, and so this comes from family, 4th generation family recipe that Effie was taught when she was living in Nova Scotia, moved, and then her daughter and daughter's friend decided to start producing these. This is like they took butter and somehow solidified butter. Heavenly. And these are, this is the little package. They are wonderful. And with this cheese, it's just going to be heavenly.
You're right. Totally unintentional pairing, but exactly what it tastes like. And Veronica, she loves the flavors. Is there anything like this? June's Joy is this little goat's milk cheese, which also And then it has this herbaceous note because it has black pepper and thyme in it. Soon's Joy is a great local one to buy. Farm makes a goat that has honey on it and smoked peppers. You could also just buy a fresh chev or and do this yourself and put some of these flavors in there.
That is awesome.
That's good. You didn't even follow the rule of leaving. Oh, you left a little piece. Okay.
It's like a dribble, but it's
all right. Cheese number 2, and that was a fresh cheese. We're not going to do our 101, but if you're curious about the 7 styles, also 101 with us. But your cheat sheet on the back. So when we say, for instance, this cheese is a bloomy rind cheese, and you don't know what that means, that's a little bit. But more importantly, we can deep dive on that another time. All right.
Y'all can start sending the heart emojis all you want, because personally, it's great feedback to just keep gushing ourselves.
You don't know that it's just for affirmations from you all, and that's how we're making COVID.
This is our coping mechanism, is tension from y'all.
Okay, actually, this is keeping us connected to the outside world, and we make fun of that, but it truly is. So thank you for grounding us and not feel so alone in these times of solitude. Okay, because we're still shelter-placed, y'all.
Hey, Michelle Harem is on. We'll talk to you later.
Michelle, we have a plan for you.
For you
all right,
about the next
honey,
cheese
put
tasting.
yours together with me. All right, this next cheese is Bermuda Triangle, because look, guys,
it's a triangle.
Woo! It comes
Love it.
in it's a log shape about this wide. It does a little this wide. Eat this a certain way before talking about it. If you look into it, I think there's 2. There's an inner chalky paste, your cream line, and then so we will try 3 different flavors. I want you to try it, the inner chalky paste, then try to get a bite of just the cream lime, and then put them all together. You're going to get salty, assertive flavors in that cream lime. Just put the rind with it. You are going to get more like a more mold or like flavor with it. This is another goat's milk cheese. Goat's milk cheeses are known for acidic, minerally. You really get this minerality to them. Sometimes a little bit citrusy, like a lemon zest peel or that type of thing. This one, when I was looking it up, and we'll tell you about the maker in Cypress Grove, this cheese specific, they said, is for the rind lover. So we get asked to eat the rind or not. And if you followed us, we have all sorts of sayings, but one is rind is a terrible thing to waste. So depending on what cheese you're eating, some cheese makers may say, you don't have to eat the rind, or I prefer it without it. Oftentimes, the rind is part of the cheese, and I usually just oftentimes enjoy them separately. So I still eat, but it may mean I'm eating them in different applications. Or this one, you can see the rind to paste ratio, and it's definitely meant to be eaten. If you buy cheese, you're paying for all this good stuff on the outside. Just try to pick out the inside. Then you're not get as much of the full flavor. So they're intending for develop more of a peppery, piquant note because of that rind to paste ratio. Take it away, honey.
And Mary Keene is like one of the matriarchs of the American cheese industry. Like when you first get into cheese and you're like a wide-eyed kid rolling around Central Market studying cheese books and looking at cheeses, Humboldt Fog out in the forefront, and
the American right?
and you learn about it and you study it, and all of a sudden you get to read about Mary Keene, a woman who she had 4 kids, wanted to raise them in a maybe healthier way. So
sorry, I gotta jump in here. I love this story.
Yeah, hey, babe, you got it, love.
Okay. This is in the 70s when it was like a super deal that convenience food was coming out. Think about it. It was like the time of shake and bake and all these, like, you always tell that good story about cake and how people then thought it was too, that you didn't have to add any ingredients to it, just water. So then they say, fine, add an egg. But anyway, okay. So she's a healthier alternative. She's a self-proclaimed hippie through, had some land, then saw her neighbors who were cow farmers or had cattle, and they had goats to help keep the brush control. And she asked them if she could buy one of the goats. The neighbor said, if you can catch them, you can have them. And so she caught goats, and they ended up being her first goats, Esmeralda and Hazel. Goats turned into miraculously. And then she ended up having a whole herd of goats, having lots of milk, and decided to end up making cheese. And then that, from there, the rest is history. She is one of the, what we affectionately call the goat ladies. but a mother of the modern American artisanal cheese movement, alongside of Redwood Hill, Vice, Allison Hooper, Vermont. Who else know I need to throw out there? I'm missing one other big goat lady of the 80s. I'll think of it. So she is well known for that. Humboldt Fog is still one of the most requested cheeses that we get in a case. We do carry it, but for us, it's on because you can now, even though this is still an artisanal cheese. And so we like to showcase some of the other things that maybe just aren't as well asked for, like this Bermuda Triangle.
And I just think in the cheese case, the shape, it's gorgeous. And it plays really well on a cheese plate because customers absolutely love the cream line. So you're getting sort of a maximum amount of cream line in a cheese like this.
But Sean, what stuff?
I do a guest of ours and what it's paired with. So I'm going to jump to that and then come back.
Who's cheating and jumping ahead?
The little jam left of it. It's the red amber color. This is Berry Last Straw from Jillian Reynolds of Nation in California. We found her at Food Mercantile in 2017. The Good Food Foundation is this really amazing organization
based in California, San Francisco,
focused on bringing the really high quality products to the market that are made
tasty, authentic, and
yeah.
And they have a whole definition of what that means.
So she only uses organic ingredients, sources within 200 miles, and this is Seascape. I don't think we have lime in anything else, but at least those two. We'll find out in a little while. And so this is one of our all-time favorite little pairings. And so try it with these there.
I like the sweet and then the acid. Yeah.
And the black part here on this rind of Bermuda, this is a food-grade vegetable ash. And that's used for a couple of different reasons. It is edible. It helps neutralize the acidity, so it's not as intense on the palate. And it's just delicious. So I'm going in for this. I'm really excited.
Fresh strawberry would also be awesome. We have to keep remembering we could do fresh fruit.
Michelle Harum is on. Oh, you're tasting tonight, Michelle. I didn't know that.
Michelle is checking in on our work.
Michelle is my mentors who works at Cypress Grove. Woo-woo. Awesome. That's delicious.
Yeah. The other thing to note that I think is exciting, or when we're talking about and learning about cheese, is I probably got
Judy Shad is who you missed.
Thank you, Capriol. Thanks, Michelle. And then Paul out of Mozzarella Company also gets a lot of cred for coming around time, and she's out of Dallas. The other thing I was going to say, what was I going to say? Oh, so while makers are striving for consistency that may vary from season to season, we all tonight could have tasted very different things because we're getting different logs. Through, yeah. So one log probably went through, I don't know.
We probably used 15 logs tonight.
Yeah. So each one, like when you looked at my piece, it had a cream line than yours did. I was on the email today. Thank you, team. We love you. But just something to remember at an artisanal cheese tasting is it can vary from make to make. But generally speaking, it should all taste the same around this time of year.
Just be within a range of flavor profiles. Cheesemakers like this that we're showcasing are not trying to make the milk taste, showcase what the milk really tastes like at that time. I think that's the key difference between a commodity and artisanal. So while there's going to be some variation, and you'd expect that in an artisanal produced cheese.
Well, maybe I should wait on that one. I'll wait on that little lesson about the major things that affect the flavor of cheese. Okay.
I like that.
Okay. So we talked about goat and the flavor profiles of goat. So what are the major affect the flavor of cheese? The species, cow, goat, sheep, water buffalo, yak, camel. Our first camel last summer.
Good.
What is the breed of the animal? So which type of goat, which we'll get into in a second. And then seasonality. Where are they at in their lactation and what are they eating at that time of year? And all of that will really affect the flavor of the cheese. And then clearly how you make it and the cultures and how you're aging it. But those other three things really what that cheese is going to taste like. So I'm excited for this new one.
Ooh. I'm thrilled. I'm already enjoying myself.
Okay. By the way, I don't think that there's a cheese on the plate tonight hasn't won some award. Actually, Mac, we'll get to it, is a newer cheese, so I don't know about that. But a lot of these are award winners at Bermuda Triangle. Okay, so next up, speaking winners, is from Stepladder Creamery, California, and this is their Ragged Point. This is placed at the American Cheese Society last year, and it also has been named a finalist for the Good Food Awards. We're now moving to our first cow's milk cheese, and this is a triple creme. So what does a triple creme mean? It means that it has over 75% fat. Sometimes they're adding cream process. What they say is special about theirs is whereas some triple creams have the consistency butter, theirs maintains this texture while still that rich, luscious decadence on the palate. This is from a couple, Jack and Michelle. What you gonna? I just feel bad.
No. Well, so this cheese here again, another second cheese.
See if I can show you.
Yeah, can you see the white
cream line?
For those of you that are replated, sometimes to make it prettier. This is another soft ripen. You said if you hold it up to the light, 3 different textures, 3 different colors. We've got the inside, which again line are the cream paste. Then cream line. I like this. This would be about a 5-ounce, little 5-ounce circle.
It's like a fat hockey puck. And so the reason we're telling you the shapes is the rind paste ratio affects age. Because these are bloomy rinds, these last 2 pairs, which you can tell because it has that thin white skin, mold on the outside is breaking down the proteins in, and that's what's making that a creamy cheese. So Jack Rudolph went to his family from a line of ranchers at Stepladder Ranch. He went to pursue his political science degree, but in high school he had fallen in love with like a trip to a farm goats, and somehow that called him back. And so he went into his ranch and ended up taking over the ranch, but wanted to launch the first there and brought on their goats. And then the woman, Michelle, that would end up becoming his partner had gone to Cal Poly, and in her words, just and loved it. So their ranch today is a whole working system, holistic system. They have avocado fed, whey fed hogs, which I really want to eat one of those. Sorry, a long time, so I'm allowed to say that, but an avocado heritage.
That sounds amazing.
And what happened was there was a storm one time, and so all the avocado harvest had fallen, and then they didn't want to waste it. The pigs, and then now it's like a thing. They're known for that. They have about 60 goats. All of their goats are La Mancha breed, and so the La Mancha breed is the only that is was created domestically, right? Did I say that right? Okay, created bred that way domestically. What did you think about it? Did you try it yet? You're trying to keep up on the comments.
A couple of people said they're having issues. We'll make better effort to be speaking directly at the phone, and hopefully that fixes it. If not, again, this video is live, and it's being recorded, so you can even sign out, sign back in, so that you don't have that issue. So I'm trying to keep up with the comments. I loved it. I thought it was great.
Okay, we paired with. Oh, you want to talk
overall? I love the texture of the rind. There's a nice little bite to it when you first sink your teeth into it. And then what I really love, I already started talking to you. And then what I really love is that it breaks down. That rind isn't overpowering. It's there, it's present. But what you're really tasting is the interior of the cheese. And I think that that's a pretty amazing combination. That's the first time I've had this cheese. I think it's outstanding.
What's exciting about this example is bloomy rind cheeses are known more for these mushroomy vegetal flavor profiles. So it could be mushrooms, it could be asparagus, cauliflower, broccoli, and I think you get a little more of that earthiness, umami of mushroomy notes on this one.
I love it.
Okay, so we paired it because this is all cream. You need some acid to that on your palate. So we are going apricots.
Apricots, and this is.
I'm going to eat while you talk.
Yeah, this is from Ina Jam. I love it.
I mean, that was a little accident. You got to be like, I'm in a jam.
I'm in a jam. I'm in a pickle. Whatever you want to, however you want to call it. These guys are based out of California, Emeryville. They source all their fruit, again, within 150 miles of the kitchen. It's all, sustainable fruit. But what really sets them apart is that they're really just showcasing a single varietal. So when they say Royal Blenheim, they're harvesting Royal Blenheim apricots and really just adding sugar and pectin. They're not adding flavorings. They're not adding any additional notes. They're just really wanting to showcase the flavor of that item at that time of the year. Seasonal, it's freshly picked, and it's amazing. So the Royal Blenheim is Kendall's favorite of their jams. And so maybe you want to talk about how you typically eat croissants, biscuits, butter.
Raised in the South, that makes me think of when I was growing up and my nana ordered me biscuits and peach or jam. What's funny about that story is it sounds like my nana was one of those who'd like cook all day, make her biscuits, but I'm pretty sure they were the ones out of a can, and it was an apricot jam out of a jar. But it always takes me back and transports me to that.
So good. And so, yeah, this Royal Blend, we also sell a strawberry, which I think is amazing.
So John's team strawberry, I'm team apricot. The both delicious.
I like it. Both. The cheese is really salty, and so it actually sweetness comes out.
It kind of tastes. It has that peaches and cream when you put them together. Then what else was I going to say? Sorry, this is a little more than we normally get. Peaches and cream. Oh, so in the artisanal food world, when John has single varietal, that's something that will come up. Like we talk about varietal honeys. You just had a single varietal jam. Sometimes you have that. It's a little bit different than chocolate, but single origin. So I was really talking to the base products that you're using to make and what are the flavors that you're trying to showcase. If you ever see words single varietal, single origin, bean to bar, well, they're often being used nowadays as kind of buzz marketing words. It's in contrast to mass-produced, industrialized. So it's not that one is good and one is bad, but mass-produced, industrialized are trying to take a whole lot of ingredients and every single time turn them into the exact same flavor that you as a customer come to rely on your entire, since your youth all the way through your. They are not trying to showcase what that one farm is doing really well or what that one cocoa bean tastes like from Vietnam. And so really in artisanal food, you're trying to showcase those flavors that Earth and Mother Nature has created. The amazing artisan farmers and dairymen are coaxing out to bring those flavors to you, which that's kind of the art meets science of it. That's super cool. All right.
Awesome. All right. So that's good. So we haven't heard from anybody else that there's audio issues. So our direct communication form is working better now. So that's great. So now we are on to Papato.
We have gotten to firsthand visit this farm. This is Bellwether Farms in Sonoma County in our north.
And if anybody has any questions or anything, please let us know. I mean, you can ask a question through the chat feature and we'll respond as best we can, because if we have the answer, we'll give it. If not, we'll get back to you.
Yeah.
So yeah, please.
And I see some a lively good debate going on about what has awards. I can later post them. Well, but the reason I brought that up is because Bermuda Triangle has a lot of awards.
Yeah.
When I brought that up at the time.
Yeah, they have a ton.
Yes. One of the ones at the end is a newer cheese, and so that's the one I don't know about. So Papato, we are actually going to sheep's milk. So now we've had a couple goat, a cow. Sheep's milk is known for being rich and nutty. It's one of the fattiest in milk composition, and you can often taste that like rich kind of decadence on your palate. Sometimes I'm not drinking a red or want to move to it. This is the one I would do. Normally, I would say lighter red cheese tastings like a Pinot Noir or something. But because it's Papato, the pepper in it, I think it could actually stand up to some a little more full body and that aged sheep's cheese. This is made by Liam Callahan. His mother originally was a nurse, and then in her 50s retired and just decided to her. And, I think today is National Nurses Day. It was either yesterday or today. I think it's today. So I just have to say we love you, nurses, and everybody. Worker and everybody who's on the front line. I can't just run by nurse without giving a huge shout out to every single person in hospitals that are working over double time. So thank you, nurse. Thank you, Cindy, past service. In her 50s, she decided, the heck with it. I'm gonna get some sheep. And later on, her son came aboard late 80s, I think it was 90s, Liam. And now he still makes all the cheese. He is meticulous about it. His wife is on board and a fun story is that for the most part to this day, she's still involved. Cindy's still involved with all the. Do you remember visit the sheep?
It was amazing.
They always have access to pasture. That's something extremely important to them. The breed is East Frisian sheep, known for their pointy ears. What else? What's another fun fact about him?
Well, Liam is, I think he is one of the most special people that I've gotten to meet in the cheese industry. Soft-spoken. One of my all-time favorite products is their sheep milk ricotta, which is really hard to get, but when you're there, it's standing. So there are quite a few people that are having sound issues still.
Aww.
So has anybody signed out and signed back in and tried that? I would love to get feedback because we've got this set up exactly how it's supposed to for Facebook, and we don't want you to have any issues, of course. So we're gonna. I want to hear back from some of you. Don't seem to be having problems, and others are.
Have you verified that, honey? So will you tell us if you're having
all of you?
All sound is great. No. Just let us know if your sound is great, because that means it's working, and just other people are having issues. So we want to make sure that some people are hearing it. Okay.
Deep breath for a second as we figure it out.
So I will talk slowly while it catches up.
So their pasture is incredibly gorgeous. When you're standing up by the barn, I remember that trip was so vivid. That was just such a special experience. We got to taste a bunch of the cheeses in the facility. They make great yogurts. They make amazing ricotta. It's just wonderful.
I'm going to show one thing. We very flavored or seasoned cheeses. It's not that we're too good for them. It's just that we have a limited amount that we can carry in the shop at the time. Generally 100 in our case. And so we just want to represent all these different makers and show using milk. And as soon as you start to put flavor in it, can sometimes start to mask that. So that being said, we get requested for them all the time. About this cheese is it is technically seasoned or flavored cheese. As you can see, some of you may have gotten a piece with no peppercorn in it. Not that it's all over. What I like is that if you taste this cheese, you still first and foremost taste hard aged sheep's milk cheese or firm sheep's milk cheese. Then in certain bites, I get a little bit more of the balance of the pepperiness in it, but it is an overwhelming flavor profile so that you're getting milk first and then flavor second. That's a goal for us when we're trying to carry seasoned cheeses, is that you to taste the milk quality first. And tonight I paired this. I'm like, what was I going to talk about? Tonight, these are paired with this cheese inspired by aged sheep milk cheese from Tuscany. When you think pecorino just means little sheep, but oftentimes we're thinking of those hard sheep cheeses from Italy. So we paired that with these Italian olives, Castelvetrano olives. These do have pits in them, so be warned before you bite down. Even if you don't like olives, we say give them a try. They're more fruity than briny, and so just marrying those two together.
So good. Again, I like this one. If you told me it's a black pepper cheese, having not grown up eating black pepper, I would have been like not sure about it, but what Kendall said is spot on. It's flavored.
My mother-in-law, I put regular black pepper in pico de gallo. She's like, it's too spicy. It's too spicy. I mean, you are from New York.
Yeah.
And I'm from Texas. But so yeah, the point is it's just this like little subtle spice
little
there.
Subtle, and you get this nice natural rind. For those of you having audio issues, if you want to, some people aren't, some people are. I am not sure what is happening with Facebook, so I apologize. We will continue to try to figure that out. But if you have questions, please just ask them here, and we can repeat what we're saying. We'll stay on a little bit later, maybe to answer those questions, no problem. But this has like a nice natural rind on the outside. You can see it. Try that. Pair that with your wine. I saw some Sangioveses. I saw some, even the beers. And this is the kind of rind that plays really well with a beer of some sort.
Another fun fact about Bellwether is that they, on their 30th anniversary in 2018, created a foundation. And so now they guarantee that a portion of all sales go to local, I don't know if they're local, but organizations that are combating hunger relief. And so that was one of their ways to give back. And there's another award winner, and they have tons of awards.
So yeah, so this is a customer. If this was bacteria or mold ripened, so this is likely what they're doing on the outside is brushing it, and so they have a little bit of mold, some ambient mold on the outside here, but usually this time, again, I don't have much here to look at to give you the specific answer of how they're approaching this rind.
This one, I would try it with a bite of that as well, and do it with that salt and salt. Dip it in one of your jams just to shake it up, and try it with the sweet thing. It's also traditional for aged sheep smoked cheeses sometimes to have honey on them. So if you want to pull some honey out of your cabinet, honey with the pepperiness of the pepato and sheep's milk would be super delicious. That would be a great pairing.
So good.
We do a lot of honey pairings. It's just hard in these Facebook to go ones where we're making 150 platters, because by the time you're going to get it home and taste, it's just all over the place. And we spend all of our time trying to portion out honey. So always, if you've got honey or honeycomb, put it by your plate and try it with it. Okay, I'm trying to talk slower. Can y'all tell? If it sounds odd, it's that I am a fast talker.
Somebody said it might actually be the video that's the problem and not the audio. So I don't know. We'll call up Facebook afterwards. I'll call Zuckerberg. Got his cell phone. Don't worry about it, y'all. You don't have to send it to me. I'll call him up and I'll let him know that Facebook didn't step up the way I'd expected.
I will say that this is the first night, every single night it's been asking us to upgrade to the new video. We've said we refuse. We like the old video, and this is our first night upgrade, and now there's issues. So we're going back old school. We're going to be the old curmudgeonly people who say no new technology. It didn't work.
We're never changing. So
all that being said, we know that if you're watching, it can be super frustrating. We're going to keep trying to problem solve, but thank you just for hanging with us tonight, for supporting a good cause. And at the end of the night, we just hope it's delicious, and you know it goes to a good cause.
And we love y'all. We love y'all. We were going to make this work.
Okay, so next we are going to another sheep milk cheese. This is Avery's. Y'all's cheese has a story. I don't know if Reggie is still with us. I've heard Emily's talk. I'm tired of it.
No, he does. No, he hasn't. I always see Reggie out in the. Well, we'll talk about Reggie in a few minutes. But this is
Reggie doesn't get this time.
Reggie doesn't get this time. This is Avery.
So
Avery is actually watching right now. If you're on, you should send mass amounts of hearts to Avery. She is an amazing young woman.
Okay, so Avery is 15 or 16. I'm guessing she's 16 now, but you can let us know, Avery.
Or you don't have to, because you don't need to. It'd be awesome, though.
You might be tired of that fun fact, since that's what's been about. But this cheese that you're about to eat won its category at the American Cheese Society last year. So American Cheese Society, we got into it through Michelle Harum. John worked the competition for many years and then ended up being president of the American Cheese Society, and now has just been off the board 1 year. But every year, one of the most important things they do, which this is the first time the conference has been canceled, and I think it's like 20-year, 30-year. I don't know. I like to
35.
Put on extra numbers. This is the first competition is not being held, which is necessary but sad. So there's usually 1,500 to 2,000 cheese entered, and this won its category, which means a blue ribbon. It went on to the best of show competition and won 3rd place overall. And then come to find out that Avery was 15 at the time. So
dang!
What? She's doing a lot more work than my children are.
Reggie's given us some clarity.
Okay, I did think she was probably 16 by now. So,
well, I mean, for a 16-year-old, that's not impressive.
So Reggie, who is one of our fun on, we're going to talk about his cheese coming up in 2. But Reggie owns Central Coast Creamery, and his daughter Avery has grown up working alongside him, and has been making cheese and standing over a vat here and there.
It's got a family business. I remember in 2018, we were having a rough year, and our kiddos, they were 4 and 6 at the time. They had to come to work. When you're in it, you're in it. And I know what it's like to run a family business. You're always talking about it. You're always thinking about it. You're always working in it. They had to come. I remember that for about 15 straight days, they had to come sit on the bench. You know, in the cheese shop, little 700 square foot space. They had to come sit on the bench and listen to us sell cheese every day for about 8 straight hours. And you know, the rest of the day, they put their heads up and be like, "I'm hungry. Give me some prosciutto." And we were so busy that we couldn't help.
We literally would just be like, "Here's prosciutto."
Yeah, we like hand it to a customer and be like, "Can you just give them this? Can you like, here's a baguette. Can you just throw it at my kids, please?"
Oh, pre-COVID days.
And that's what running a family business is like, you know. And so it's amazing and inspiring that Avery has, you know, sort of taken to it.
So this is a sheep milk cheese made with cultures and a recipe. It mimics an Alpine style. San Francisco food writer Fletcher, who's also doing some amazing Thursday night tastings with my friend Laura Werlin, also a food writer. They're going to be Thursday night wine and cheese pairings to benefit American cheese. Janet Fletcher says, in different terms, it's like a combination of Swiss and a Gouda, because you're getting a little bit of that sweetness.
Yeah, you get a little.
I definitely taste the like
caramel note on the back, but there's a
slight Swissiness.
Yeah, slight bitterness that comes from that Swiss family on the palate.
Alpine cheeses are already known for this kind of nutty, brothy, bouillon cube flavor. That's specifically cow's milk. This is the sheep's milk, but I'm getting nuttiness and grassiness there from it too.
Connor wants me to throw some prosciutto at you. I wish I had some to just.
This would be great with prosciutto.
Yeah. Wow. Avery, I don't know if you want to like make a comment about how awesome you are or not. You're more than welcome to. I just think that this cheese shows, being a young cheese, you know, like new to the market, it shows so much depth flavor, so much quality. It's going to go a long way. It's amazing. I love it.
I just ate it, but tonight we paired it with a Turkish dried apricot. So give that one a try and see what you like. I kind of like that hard pairing, a little bit of the acid of an apricot to break through that rich sheep's milk. Again, so cool. This one, it still goes with my white, but cheese is going to win out. When you're doing pairings, you're looking for things that elevate each other, but both rise to occasion and can play, and neither one overpowers the other one. So this cheese definitely beats the Sauvignon Blanc I'm drinking. So I would probably do this with medium-bodied red. It could take a little more than just a Pinot Noir.
Yeah.
Man, you're drinking more tonight.
I'm having a blast.
I mean, you're penalties.
We know we got it. We figured it out.
Okay.
We're going to call Zuckerberg.
Okay.
I'm blaming it. Yeah.
All right, guys. So thanks for hanging with us. Next up is, where are we? Oh, okay. I haven't gotten to taste this cheese either.
We've never gotten to eat this.
Okay, guys. We're going to this big spear in the middle of your plate.
Customer, Eddie, you just asked what are the veins in this cheese. So the one we were just eating.
I don't see.
Are you I didn't see veins in the one we were just tasting.
Right there with them up close.
More like a figure maybe. Because I can answer that. Give us some more information so I can answer for you. I'd love to. So
what specifically is it that you're calling a vein, and we will tell you what it is?
Or not, because we don't know.
Blue cheese has veins, which we'll talk about in a minute. But we don't typically talk about veins in this cheese, but there are some cracks or fissures and different things we can talk about with that. So next up,
I got to know, Reggie and Avery, were you tasting the cheese while we were like, are you still at work? What
time is it in California? It's 5.
Yeah, it's
4:50.
4:50. I don't know. I'd be curious. Anyway, this is tasting outstanding. The wheel that we got.
And thank you. Thanks. We're so glad we got it. Okay. So next up, this is from one of our friend cheesemakers, Keith Alamar. Keith Adams. He ran. Alamar. Adams ran Alamar Cheese Company out of Minnesota, and he was a relatively new cheesemaker and was making Bent River and Good Thunder, which are and Blue Earth, these amazing cheeses that we carry in our shop. But in my brain, it seemed like he had just gotten going and was starting to win these awards. And then he's like, I'm off. And he had this dream as soon as it got him like some notoriety that he was a serious cheesemaker. He went and studied in England, and his dream had always been apparently to make these English style cheddars. And so he came back to his state of California, teamed up with an old winemaking buddy, Rob Hunter, and then started making, he makes this cheddar and blue cheese. And so it's a traditional English style cheddar. I forget what he says. He calls proper British cheese in Sonoma County, which sounds way too easy for us because we are not proper in any way. But we all know what he's saying, and that it definitely has these British roots. What does it mean to be a cloth-bound cheddar?
Yeah, and I want to talk about Keith for a second because I think he's awesome. He's like he's an all-time friend of the shop, like Reggie is too. You'll get to meet Reggie in about 5 minutes. But Keith showed up one time. He came down. We were selling Good Thunder, Blue Earth, and he came down to visit the shop. And the shop invited him out to the Draft House on Medical Parkway, just near the shop. And he showed up, and he didn't know what to expect. This was his first time meeting our business. And he had one of the best nights, he said, of his life. They just had a really amazing time talking about music and good beer and all this. And so basically he is a huge, giant fan of Austin, big fan of the business. And due to no credit our own, I think that speaks to team culture and that we hire awesome people because we weren't even out with him that night, right? It was him and all of the team. Yeah, it was him. We weren't with them.
Yeah, so good thing we weren't there.
He just smiles anytime he thinks about that night, and just anyway, it's awesome. The guy is amazing. So what makes a cloth-bound cheddar? Cloth-bound cheddar is one with the way the acidity and the salt are in a cheese like this. Mold really has a very difficult time growing on the outside of the cheese. There's not a place for it to like grab hold of and live and thrive. And so in order to protect the exterior of the rind, they will a cloth-bound cheese will often rub it in like an oil or a fat and bind it in cloth. And that becomes sort of the protective layer of the cheese. And so that's what makes it a cloth-bound cheddar. And so you can feel if you rub the outside and picture very like cheesecloth and picture cheesecloth, you can feel that groove, that indentation.
Protecting the inside, but also allowing oxygen or allowing it to age, the transfer of oxygen. Oftentimes, cloth-bound cheddars can have this earthy mustard seeds. What else? I always think of
horseradish would be a good explanation.
Don't get as much mustard seed and horseradish on this particular wheel. I get what more you may think of as like a typical cheddar. Cheddar gets its name because of the way it's made. It's an actual process of cheddaring.
Good grass notes on this.
Yeah, it's got great grassy notes. The William Cofield cheesemakers, Keith's dad's name was William and his mom's maiden name was Cofield. So I didn't know this. So that's why it's William Cofield cheesemakers. And a good question that we got is, what is raw and unpasteurized the same thing? And they are not. You're gonna say it more succinct than I do.
So a raw milk cheese has never been touched by heat in before cheese making, but pasteurization is a very specific legal definition, and so you can apply a heat treatment to milk and it not meet the definition of pasteurization. So it would be considered unpasteurized, but it wouldn't be raw because there has been some.
So in the United States, you could have heat treated it or applied some heat, but it didn't meet the level of pasteurization, but it also isn't raw because it's been heat treated. But in the US, you would still have to call that unpasteurized. So the reason that is kind of not finicky, but specifically there are some raw milk cheesemakers who really want to say this is raw and has never been heat treated, and that's important to us. And so we're trying to a good question to distinguish.
It was a great one.
We paired this tonight with bringing out those earthy flavor profiles. Is this the Fleur de Sel? Yes. This is Dick Taylor Craft Chocolate. It's Fleur de Sel. It's Adam Dick and Dustin Taylor. They are out of California as well. They are artisanal workers, if you will. That sounds, I don't think that's really a right description for somebody. They are artisans through and through. Prior to chocolate, they built wood ships, traditional handcrafted wood ships. And their bars are every bit just as beautiful. If I had to hold one up, I would show you it. Oh, but let me show you this. So you can see that's the label for those of you who want to see it. So they out of California. Now we're excited. This often happens with our producers, which it's not about us, it's about them. So it's super exciting. We were the first people to receive them and source them off of the West Coast. Now I think that they're starting to get they have a lot more traction.
I'm pretty sure I found them while we were at the hospital, right after we gave birth to our son. I'm pretty sure I found them then. I
started like hunting for all these products when we were in the hospital.
Yeah, we were hanging out in the hospital. That he didn't talk. I don't think so. And so we were just hanging out and sleeping and napping. So I was researching new products, and I found a reference to this ridiculous new chocolate company that had just opened that was really focused on craftsmanship. And I had to have it. And so we were the first company off the West Coast. So this is Taste of California. We were the first company outside to bring it off the West Coast. And I just absolutely love the way that they make this taste.
And this is their fleur de sel. So it has that sea salt added in. Sometimes we asked, should I eat the pairings together or one and then the other? I say there's too many rules. Do it however you want to, especially in these days. But for me, it really goes pairing by pairing. On jam, I'm going to put on cheese. This one, I like eating together, just doing at the same time. So I would do them together.
And when you think about a chocolate like this, it's going to have as many nuances as a cheese does or a wine does. If you just taste it, you breathe out through your nose, you might get like rum raisin cake or liqueur or vanilla or leather, things like that. You might get those flavors. So pay attention to what's happening. It's not just like sugar, salt, milk. These other nuances that are just outstanding come through on a single origin chocolate like this.
Yum.
What'd you think?
That was delicious. And I'm somebody who I'm like always embarrassed to admit it, but our goal is to make, I was going to say it's fancy foods approachable. I honestly think there's not a single person on this platter who would say they're fancy. I think that artisanal foods sometimes get a rap for being unapproachable. And instead, this is a food has been made for hundreds of years. And these are the salt earth people doing it. And so really that's our job, is to help make it more accessible. And so thank you for you guys for being with us tonight. That being said, I was raised on like crap chocolate. So that it took me a while to acquire taste for real chocolates and dark chocolates and bitter chocolate, really taste all those flavor profiles. And you can train your palate, and it's something that you taste every day and after you work. And one of the coolest tastings I've done, if you ever want to do out there, is a chocolate side-by-side tasting of all different origins, different ways you can make it. And so that would be a fun thing. Just if y'all are looking for other.
We have a chocolate and cheese pairing coming up in a few weeks.
There you go.
So you can taste it.
I wasn't even trying to go into that. Okay, so Reggie.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, Reggie could say this was his first day off that he had got, not off. It's his first day that he had left early, and Avery just finished up, and he's doing some work at the dining room table, and Avery just finished up with some homeschooling.
In case you haven't been following the comment feed as much as Kendall and I, Reggie Jones is the producer, the dreamer.
We'll give him a drum roll since he made it to the end.
Yeah, he's doing paperwork while watching us, y'all. I don't know if he has a cheese plate in front of us, probably not. But one of the reasons why Kendall and I aren't cheesemakers is because we know how hard the work is. We know before we opened the shop, we sat down and talked about what we were good at, what we were not. And being a cheesemaker is one of the hardest jobs on the planet. And we recognize that, and we realized that we weren't going to be able to live off like somebody like Reggie. And so we are talkers, and we work our butts off, but we do it in the retail environment.
Yeah, we thought we were choosing an easier path. I'd say it's different.
It's different.
But
it works for us.
It hasn't necessarily. Nobody says become an entrepreneur and you're open your own mom and pop shop and that it's easy.
Yeah. And so anyway, Reggie and Kelly, these are Kelly's wife, two of the nicest human beings on the planet. My favorite memories of them are American Cheese Society. Every year we get to come together as a industry.
Except they missed last year. think they were gone in 2019.
Yeah.
You can tell us, Reggie.
Yeah. But we get to, as an industry, we get to come together and like celebrate each other and just kind of remember why we're doing this. When you guys like come into our shop and you see a cheese, you see a cheese. When Kendall and I walk into our shop and we see a cheese, we see a face, we see a person, we see a human connection, we see student loans, we see families sending to college, we see families taking care of their elderly, we see families that had a tough year last year, we see
it's the relationship for us, every one of those. And so sometimes whenever you come up and say, have you gotten this or will you get this from me? It's not as easy as that, because oftentimes in a self-footprint shop like ours, it means if we're bringing something in, we're saying goodbye to something else. And every one of those other is a relationship to us. And so our goal, if we're growing, it's that we can incorporate more things without pirating sales or taking money out of the pocket or losing any relationship that we've already established, which sometimes easier said than done.
And one of the faces in my brand that I see, it's the smile is infectious that he gives you. And oftentimes we see him.
We always see Reggie and Kelly like in the
right before bedtime.
Who has been to a conference, a work conference? And this is difficult for me because it seems like all the major networking is like in the after hours. Like you all go during the day and you do your panels and and there's pleasantries, but then like business happens in the streets when you're passing each other from one party to the next or something. And that's always way past my bedtime. But we always see Reggie and Kelly like going from one thing to the next in the evening
we
hours.
end up spending about 25 minutes standing on a street corner in the middle of a random city, having one of the best conversations of our lives. And
pre-COVID, we were trying to plan a trip to Reggie, so he doesn't know it, but we're travel. We're coming to him next.
We're coming, Reggie, you just have to open up doors. He did say the reason why he wasn't at ACS last year is that Avery was performing at the Fringe Festival in Scotland. Which
y'all remember is crazy because she won third place Best of Show, and then they weren't there.
Yeah, they weren't there, which is awesome.
Okay, so Avery, we talked about, but Central Coast Creamery has won a ton of awards. From the moment we opened, we have carried their Gouda and Seascape, or those first early years. I think we all got going.
He was at like 2008.
And we opened in 2010. But Reggie has been in cheese a lot longer. He was in for some bigger companies in quality production, quality assurance, recipe development, all those sorts of things. So tonight, trying his Big Rock Blue. And we have paired this with Robert Lambert Wild Blueberry Lemon Preserves. Robert Lambert is this amazing man in California who I think we basically had to like super interview and jump hoops to be able to sell his products. And in fact, he said no to us many times. John, I don't really like rejection. That's why neither one of us dated a lot, but so it was hard. But finally, somebody came to work with us who had worked at a well-known cheese shop called Zingerman's, and he called up Robert. Robert was like, "You've worked at Zingerman's and you're at Antonellis. Tell me about these people. Are they legit?" And so he vouched for us. But ever since then, we've now been representing Robert Lambert, and I think this day now, his sort of decreased retirement plan, we're one of only 4 or 5 shops nationwide that still carry his products that we know of. It's him, as far as I know. I don't know anybody else who does it. If you call him, his voicemail message says, "I can't answer the phone. I'm in the 5-day process of making my membrio. I'll call you back when I want." We got a little bit, I'm allowed to say it's because it has a happy ending. We always got a little bit of this like very curmudgeonly impression. When we first met him at the Fancy Food Show in San Francisco, he was the nicest guy ever. Came up, gave us huge hugs. Now it's so great to put a name to a face. But I know like when he makes his lime marmalade, he would travel to Kuala Lumpur to like hand pick this lime traditionally that goes in it. And so anyway, he, all of the producers on our plate, really cares about his products and his about the make process and what goes into it. So how did they go together? I didn't do it yet.
So this has Meyer lemon juice and zest in it, pineapple juice. If you've had his other jam, the raspberry champagne jelly, there's some of that in here. Thai ginger syrup and cognac.
So oftentimes we'll say less more, like the Royal Blenheim was just apricot, and like people shouldn't put ingredients in things. Somehow he is a master of like the perfect little bit of tweaking and all the different ingredients, but to make these amazing flavor profiles. So super, super small batch.
That's so good. And the Big Rock Blue is tasting outstanding tonight.
Yeah, woo!
It's like right at its peak.
Also, if you don't like blue, I hope you gave it a chance. This is not a really piquant blue. To me, it's not super strong where it slaps you, hits you in the back of the throat, or slaps you across the face. It's more of that creaminess and that fudginess.
This is what I want. Awesome. This is what I want and need on like a wedge salad. Like immediately. I would eat a wedge salad right now.
If we had leftovers, we could do that, but you're going to eat it all.
I'm going to eat all of it. Absolutely.
Okay, guys. So we are at the point where we try to do your vote for your favorites. No pressure because there's cheesemakers on. But John likes to say you can vote as many times as you want.
Only 7 times.
Because we're not counting. So do your little hearts and emojis. Now, did you see they added that new one, which John was like, what is that emoji? And it's a little like hugging a heart. I was sitting far away. I couldn't tell. Okay, so whose favorite is number 1? Our Shavu Tupelo Honey goat cheese. All right, whose favorite? Give it a like. We have a delay, but everyone's got to get a like. Delay. Okay. Whose favorite? There they go. There they go. Whose favorite is Bermuda Triangle from Cypress Grove Chef? All right, number 3, Ragged Point, that triple creme from Stepladder Creamery. Ooh, 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 ooh. I'm going to make a different noise for one. Number 4, Pepato, our first cheese milk cheese. Okay, number 5, from then 15-year-old, now 16-year-old Avery. Woo! I need some sound. Awesome. Number 6, Big Finley Cheddar, aka Big Mac from Cofield Cheesemakers. Chucka, ridiculous. Okay, and last but not least, from Reggie and Kelly of Central Coast Creamery, the Big Rock Blue. I was gonna shimmy for y'all, but maybe that's all. I'm pretty long. I'm professional. This Facebook Live with the Antonellis. Okay, you guys were awesome. Thank you so much. We like to just cap it all off by what you do and say, remember that by joining us for Taste of California tonight, you're help benefiting American cheesemakers, part of a new campaign called Victory Cheese and hashtag Choose It or Lose It. And basically, we don't want to be doom and gloom about it, but this time to really celebrate and support and showcase our American producers. If you're used to buying craft singles, yes, those are drops too, but I'm pretty sure they're going to make it through the pandemic. We can't name for all of our artisan producers. So substitute different cheeses. Fun fact, I tried just as an experiment from a local grocery store. What was it? Like red Mexican cheese and American craft singles the other day. Neither one was available. So that shows us that it's regularly running out of stock. If you will switch those dollars, at least for short term, to sell cheese. If you're able, we know that that's not always able, but if you're able, that'll really help out for the time being, doing what we can. We've driven business to do good, eat good, part of that story tonight. And we like to cap it all off with our core principles. Yeah. I always do it. You want to take a stab? I'm sure. You know I'm going to interrupt anyway. Yeah, I love this woman. It was incredible. And thank you for being a part of this experience on my date night. I loved it. Cheers to all of you, those of you that have to sign off because 7-Eleven. We went over by 11 minutes. Your couch misses you. We're going to blame Zuckerberg for that. Yeah. But thank you for being here. So our core principles, be a juggernaut of awesome. I remember when we wrote these, they all kind of clicked. The goal was to think about how we lived our lives, how we operated the business, and just get it on paper and try not to create anything new because it's really hard to fake it. And so those are how we live our lives. Yep. Be a juggernaut of awesome. An overwhelming of awesome. Good enough, just be awesome. You got to be an overwhelming force. So that's our customer service. Smiles, service, and storytelling. It's create positive impact in a positive way. Passion with purpose is our sort of philosophy is you can't just be passionate. Passion gives you energy. Purpose gives you direction. You want to have both because then you'll finally get destination, whatever that might be. And we used to say ours was telling the story of artisanal makers and linking consumers with producers.
Woo!
That is it.
Can't remember that.
We did. That was the first 6 or 7 years, and we more recently have realized we have a simple passion with purpose to spread joy, and it just so happens to be that we get to do it through this big cheese.
I'm reading the comments, and we got to spread a lot of joy tonight.
Yay!
There's a lot of happy
people. Since apparently there were some issues, but we will
birthday
go back
parties, anniversaries. We're
also takes us
blessed.
to improve every day. Go back and look at how to make this system better. We are just, I've made a drink every time he says, why are y'all pivoting? But we are pivoting like crazy. And huge kudos and thanks to our team. And anything you have, if we have a technician out there, feel free to email us at info@antonellischeese.com and help us troubleshoot this. And then last but not least is, which we had a lot of families plate tonight, is family first in business. And for us, however you define family, maybe it's biological family, maybe it's 4-legged friends who are eating right now and eating your cheese rinds. Maybe it is our cheese industry. Maybe it is your colleagues.
Yeah. And now you can say G. Jones. He'll always be a part of your family, just like he is for us.
We take a lot of liberties in what we call family. And so you are part of our night for being here with us.
Thank you.
Helping bring us joy, allowing us to do what we love and then support the people we love. So thank you all for joining Taste of California. We hope we'll see you at Vermont. The ACS best winners, y'all, in black tie. And then last but not least, Taste of Wisconsin. Thanks for celebrating American Cheese Month with us. Over and out.
Over and out. Thank you. I will respond to the question in a few minutes.
We're going to go through questions.